such an asshole.
Boy, have we, whoa, I'm way too close. I had to move offices a little bit. There we go, a little more centered. And the laptop is working now. We got a doozy of a question, real deep philosophical one. And this is going to be facing, it's always been there with P.T. Barnum. There's a sucker born every minute. But especially now, since everyone is educated in even the private schools, the K through college education system, no one is an independent thinker. And it'd be one thing if people just left you alone, but they don't. Part of the operating system people, universally all people get now, and at least in the United States, is this is the correct, not only political opinion, but this is correct thinking. And if anyone disagrees with you, you have the right to ruin their lives. So if the NPCs were just cattle, man, but you're going to see my opinion on NPCs here very quickly is that they're not cattle. I mean, they are cattle, but they're weaponized cattle. And you're going to see where we're going. So it's a short question, but the answer is going to be a little longer. Hi, Aaron. It's been a couple of years since I've requested a video. Basically, I've just seen too much over the past 2 years to have any faith left in humanity. This, of course, assumes the people around us are actually human and have the same DNA as you and I. That they do. They are genetically human. No doubt about that. But I think that's where the similarities end. I actually question that now when I observe those around me, when I'm out and about. This video could be a combination of the following. 1, what really are the things that walk among us? 2, given what we have learned over the past 2 years regarding how this place works, how can we... Past 2 years, where have you been? I've been at this for 20 years. Heck, probably 25. Given what we have learned over the past 2 years regarding how this place works, how can we use this knowledge to prosper and really get the most out of life? Regards, a non-NPC. All right. What are we really dealing with? All right, now, keep in mind, this is not all the world. All right. I can only speak to the United States because I've lived here long enough. Maybe it would have larger application to the Anglosphere or whatever else. But the human being, human brain, whatever, I used to think what I didn't understand as a little kid, I was like Calvin from Calvin and Hobbes. Like I knew that Mrs. Wormwood, the teachers were the enemy. The adults were the enemy. They were our adversaries. Dad wants me to go to bed early. I didn't want to go to bed here. Why am I going to this prison called school? The teachers are evil. They're not fair. They're not just. So I knew. And so I never, because, in my own mind, I'm like, how can anyone not see? This is obviously a biased, hate-filled woman trying to teach. How do they not see this? And I always thought that the human mind was, because of their own self-interests, would be resilient to brainwashing, that you could identify BS when someone was trying to snooker you, like college. So I always thought, no, humans are independent-minded. You see, even in the culture here in the United States, oh, look, they figured, the bad scheming guy. And I'm like, yeah, people are too smart for that. Then as I got older, you started realizing there's so many teachers' pets and goody two-shoes. I don't just mean in the school sense, but I mean in life, that they really didn't get it. And this is a relatively recent thing. We're talking within the past 5 years. I've changed my opinion from most humans can't be brainwashed to most humans can. I'm convinced that most humans can be brainwashed. And maybe even myself, you deprive enough nutrients to the brain, it gets loopy and doesn't function right. Who knows? So I didn't originally think humans could be brainwashed. Now I could. But another way to understand why I'm like, well, how did they get to that? And what you have to realize is the human brain is almost identical to a computer. You need to have an operating system. It has to be installed. Now, we're used to operating systems like Linux or whatever Microsoft does, or not Microsoft, Windows, what's Apple, whatever their operating system is. And so we say, it's functional, it's supposed to work. But the human operating system is programmed into, well, technically forever. It's always getting updates. Your mind never stays the same. But when you look at how universally we sent kids into the K through college education system, including private schools, and more recently, how parents just don't invest, They don't care about their kids. They ship them off to school. They both work. I mean, think about how far and how successful. Bravo, family. You convinced women not to raise their own children, to ship them off to school. I'm going to say that's right or wrong. I'm just impressed that you overrode 2 million years of human evolution to not raise your own kids. That is a huge biological, Darwinistic instinct, genetic programming that was overrode by programming. Now there's conflicts. The whatever you want to call it, the hind brain, the lizard brain is still screaming at women to go have kids, and they're 40 and they cry because they don't have kids. But how they operate in society has been determined, has been programmed by not only, but disproportionately K through college education. Then you have the media, you have government, Hollywood. And I'm talking men too, just, but another perfect example would have been the teen Vogue magazines we had when we were kids, and now it's whatever's on the internet. You are given your operating system, which, because political forces, namely the left, have taken over that, is going to be skewed towards leftism. And I hate to make it sound so simple, but in the context of what you're asking, I can't believe people are doing this. You're talking probably in a political, or at least how we interact socially or work within a democracy. Not only are there politics left, but now it's their religion. I'll give you a perfect example where it still falls under the domain of politics, but it's not specifically to like fiscal policy or what we spend the money on. I call it traitism, because that's what it is. We could talk about racial relations. We could talk about gender relations. We could talk about sexual preference relations. And I've made the point that these are all traits, right? And what people are doing is like, it's my traits, it's me. Like the number one way you can tell you're talking to an NPC, when they preface a statement they're about to make, a thought they had, instead of just saying the thought, they first filter it or qualify with the statement as a race, gender, Hispanic, female, white, female, black, although it's usually women who do that. You can see it. They're telling you, I view the world through the lens that I've been trained. And one of the things, even though it's not all of politics, they have absolutely told every young person, millennials and later, that their number one value in life is horrible. It's the opposite thing of what Martin Luther King said. It's how you were born. It's not the it is the color of your skin and not the content of your character. And it's like, really? Really? You believe that BS? Like, I can't. It's like, you really care the way you really? Yes, they do. Or a lot of them do. Now, that's just one example. But I'm for the environment. I'm a pacifist, where they have simply kicked out old religion and put in a new religion in the form of socialism and its variants, whether that's feminism, just rank fiscal socialism, racial, gender, feminine, whatever. Or whatever it is, it all falls down. Give us more of that person's money. That's general. I'm sorry I simplified all your sub-studies there. It's just, give us more of that guy's money. Why? Because reasons. And what's truly sad is not only is a political ideology, or you couldn't even call it a philosophy. It's one thing to advocate parasitism out of inherent human laziness as a survival mechanism. It's a whole other mental illness and mental sickness to put that at the value of your life. Like, you're proud that you advocate taking other people's money. You're proud, not proud, but that is your religion. That is your value. That's how you derive value. I am a thief. I am a parasite, and I'm proud. You can even see that with the ending of babies that are still in the uterus. I want to use the A word. How some of these women are proud that they have ended the life of a fetus. And I'm pro-choice, by the way. I'm pro-choice, but I'm like, you shouldn't do that. Like, shouldn't you have birth control? Or they have to build something? Like, you get to that point? And I'm not a big humanitarian, but I'm kind of like, isn't that kind of close? Like, can we agree you're solidly within the gray area of murder? I don't have a lot of morals or principles I follow. Not murdering innocent people is one of them. And I'd be like, kind of when you avoid that, and you would think a sensible modern day approach to ending the life of a fetus would be one of shame, or certainly you keep that private. Or you try to, oh God, I got to do this quickly. You don't want to wait till the third trimester. Oh no, they're proud. They're proud. And now you see there are NPCs. And what you're witnessing here is that operating system that was programmed into and continues to be programmed today, where they have lost, forget even touching in with reality. For example, I make fun of Melvin Carter, who is the mayor of St. Paul, and they just recently passed rent control, and they passed it also on new buildings. So there's housing shortages everywhere, and they need housing in St. Paul. And what did Melvin Carter and his city council do? They passed rent controls, which they showed it like new housing developments dropped by 90%. So now you don't have, they don't care, right? So that is a naivete and ignorance on a fiscal level of economics. And I don't credit him with being that smart of man, obviously not, right? But then to get to the point you're okay with gray area murder, you see these people are so far gone. Not only are they not anchored into economic reality, which is probably why you have a complaint, because these people go and vote in policies that just don't work. They just don't. I mean, how many times we got to point? Hello, Black community. When do you wake up and realize that Democrats are not your friend? Okay, forget Democrats. When do you realize it ain't working? Forget politics. Remove all of it away. When do you say? I mean, how many more generations of minorities in but the Black community have to live in dead? Well, second to last place if you include the American Indian community. Which again, I'd ask the same question. When do you say, hey, I don't like the Republicans, and maybe I love the Democrats because what they say, but it ain't working. And I don't want to be poor no more. I don't want, gosh, since the Great Society, what would it be? 7 generations now? Maybe 7, that's a lot. 5 or 6 generations, depending on how quickly people bred. Do we want a 7th generation of Black Americans being dead last? Do we want an 8th generation, a 9th generation? When do you just say, whoa, this ain't working, man? It ain't working. Doesn't matter. That would require independent thought. And of course, we have Black conservatives, Black libertarians are simply not black, not leftists. There are independent-minded people, of course. But I'm talking as a group. It's the brainwashing. And I'm sure I'd love to have Shogun from the Turd Flinging Monkey show come on. He's talk about this because he's Black and was brought up in it, where it's a almost not even, it goes beyond religion. Now it's a cult where what you think you're better. Someone who does better is immediately the enemy. You get good grades. What are you acting white? Like, do you hear what you're saying? And so what you have to look at is that's the programming they got. And it is so effective. It is that it goes against their best interests, that they no longer have an anchoring in reality, which obviously results in failed decisions. Another perfect example outside of using Black community would be Bipsy little teeny bopper suburbanite Sue who has daddy's money. She goes and majors in the world's dumb. Lady, seriously, when do you stop majoring in dumb crap? I'd like to close the wage gap. Okay, major in engineering. Stop majoring in stupid stuff. The liberal arts should all be shut down. The social sciences should all be shut down. We need accountants, engineers, tradesmen. Ladies, go ahead. And this is where you're going to find out, or what do you do with the NPCs? This is where you find out they're enemies. If you try to help them, you're an Istor and ism, because now you're going against the programming. It really is fighting the Borg. Not even fighting the Borg. You're trying to rationalize with the Borg. Nope. It's their way. It's destruction and death, their own impoverishment, because that's how iron tight that programming and brainwashing is. Now, the reasons for that: laziness is the number one most powerful force in the human brain psyche, because that's how we survived in the past. I'm not going to go over that again. Socialism, leftism, and all of its variant colors and causes says, oh, here, free money, you don't have to work. People love that. And so they go ahead and they vote for that. For whatever reason, the left gives them, doesn't matter the environment, the gender, the race, the this or the that. But what really concerns me is where they're fanatics about it and it becomes their religion. It's not about like helping the poor and And it's like, it's helping the, and if you don't, we're going to deplatform you, demonetize you, social credit score, get you fired. I mean, it's a mental illness. It's a mental illness, but enough have been programmed that this is the way it's going to be. And so that are what NPCs are. They are, I mean this very literally, they are genetically human. All right, they are. But they are robots. They are not sentient. Now, yes, they're sentient. I know that they think, therefore they are, but they have been told what to think. And this is why where you look at, you don't argue with leftists, because they will do everything in the world to make reality fit into their ideology. People say, well, how'd you become a conservative? Now, I always kind of was a Republican. I switched to libertarianism once I actually made a gay friend. I was like, oh, okay, I see what you've done. I'm sorry, I was wrong. But as I just looked at empirical data and I let reality form my political opinions, not the other way around. And so that's why you can't reason with these people. And also, by the way, if you haven't known where that fanaticism comes, you're taking everything away from them. All they got is their politics. Let's say it's like, nope, we ban all the yellow and blue colors. You can't have yellow or blue on any. What are all the girls going to do without putting a Ukraine flag on their face to get the attentions? I mean, how are people going to virtue signal? So that's what they've been. Not only does it play off of how to basically enslave a group of people to keep voting for the Democrats so they work and pay taxes, but they got it to the level that this is the only thing they got in their lives. And then you look at them and it's like, yeah, it's like talking to the Borg. You can finish their sentences. You don't have to. I don't really talk to communists. I'm like, yeah, you don't want to work. I get it. It all boils down. You need more of other people's money, more of other people's money. Let me guess, more of other people's money. Okay. The reason might vary. How craftily created the reason might be a little bit different. There might be a little bit of talent there. But in the end, it's always, I don't want to work. I don't want to actually think. And I want other people's money to solve problems. So either I have myself taken care of or I feel good about myself, which would be predominantly your spoiled, rich, elitist liberals. So, but the point is, no, they're not human. You're not able, because it's not the sun. What was it? Disguise, I think, therefore I am. Like when I want to talk to someone, the number one thing in life is other humans. That's because there's another brain, presumably, at the receiving end of your conversation. They might not that you'd be talking politics, but what'd you think about that movie? I didn't like it. You did? I thought it was really good. Why didn't you like it? Because there's a different brain. It's an infinite, non-quantifiable, not finite being. A human is another centipedes, like, well, this and that. Oh, I didn't see it. Yeah, you're right. Maybe it wasn't as good. But didn't you like it when they blew up the truck and they said, oh my gosh, Shazam. And then you're like, oh, I didn't think about that. That's how you form love, whether that's brotherly love, familial love, or romantic love. But when you got, here, I'll show you. I'm not joking. This is my Cowboy Bebop mouse pad. This is more interesting than your average NPC, because an NPC is a known quantity. This is also a known quantity. There's nothing to it. It's a thing. And that's sadly what most humans are. Most, not all, but most of them, they're things. They're just things. Because if you can't reason with someone, if you can't rationalize, they're just set to do the programming and spit out an answer that might be a highly advanced AI, but it's not human. I mean, maybe it's got a soul. I don't know. But as far as I can interact with someone, If I can't reason with them, show them evidence, and have them change their mind or acknowledge reality, you literally might as well be talking to that mouse pad. You might as well be talking to a rock. And that's sadly what most of them are. Now, when you get into here, given what we have learned over the past 2 years, I'd say 20, how can we use this knowledge to prosper and really get the most out of life? All right. 2 ways. All right. First, you don't waste your time with NPCs. You find a country or a culture, group of people, whether that's your immediate group of friends, your wife, your husband, whoever it is, you make sure they're not NPCs. Right? So you control your immediate environment and who you're hanging out with, who you spend time with. I would also say spend the time to do global reconnaissance to find a culture. I don't know where it is. That's what I got to do next winter. Find a group of people who aren't. It's fine if you want to help out people. It's fine if you want to help out the poor. But when you make it your cult and your religion to the point you want to end other people and destroy them because they don't agree with you, no, you got to find a different group of people. All right? So, 1, control who you let into your life, who you interact with. And if you have to, go to a different country or a different culture or a different community or something. I can't. Want a perfect example where the NPCs reign supreme? I got a buddy who lives down in San Francisco. He lives in a very nice apartment. All right. I think it's $4,500 a month. Well, a bomb ended up deciding their atrium or awning or whatever it is when you walk into the main door. She decided, and find out who the gender was, but they were going to sleep there. And they started pooping there. And he sent me a screenshot where everyone in that building except homes was like, well, just be thankful you have housing. They are so brainwashed, they will, it's to the point it's to their own detriment. Right? You should not be there. If you have to work in Silicon Valley, make a lot of money so you can be free from all these people later on, fine, go do it. But you go in there, you get your money, you get out. I wouldn't even bother being social in San Francisco. I wouldn't even bother with people there. You just make your money, say, no, get your degree, whatever you're doing online. And then, here's my $500,000. You go buy a place in Vegas. And then you go live life and have fun. All right. So that's you. You got to control yourself. Where I'm going, this is part of Operation Evil, which isn't really part of Operation Evil, is based on the fact that if I don't agree with these NPCs, now I'm called a whole host of things of which I'm not guilty of. I'm a racist. I'm a sexist. I don't like gay people. Anytime anyone who disagrees with me is Hitler, right? And then you can get deplatformed, or this or that. So now, and not only do they allow to want to deplatform, some of them are okay. Most of them are not okay with letting you be. They want you to suffer. They will not read any one of my book reviews. Go and read any one of my book reviews on Amazon.com. Read all the 1-star. It's all people calling me a bigot of some kind, a traitist of some kind or another. It's not about the book. I'm not a traitist. I don't judge based on how you were born. You guys do. I don't. But they cannot let you be. They need to punish you because that's all they got in life. And in that sense, they are much like a virus. All they have to is infect other things and destroy them. That's it. These are evil people. So I have no moral problems with taking advantage of them. And that's how you should deal with them. So you got your small group of friends who don't have their heads up their asses and have a bit of morality and independent minded. They're true independent human beings. You can have a conversation with them, even if you don't agree with them all the time. For the rest of the NPCs, I wish I figured this out early, because you know what I would have done? Of course, this is impossible because I would need this foresight and all the economic data and studying. I would have joined the Democrat Party or the Labor Party, the Socialist Party, whatever party, because that is the biggest money-making operation where you lie to people and make money off of them. In other words, you become the what they call them, the televangelist pastors. Very similar business model. If you guys remember Jimmy Swaggart, this was back in the 80s. They go and televangelize. It'd be on the television. And donate the money, Tammy Faye Baker, those guys, they make millions, probably would be billions by today's standards, selling people on a religion, Christianity. If you donate to us, we'll save, and people toss them the money. You tell them what they want to hear. What do you think Oprah got her money? Telling women the truth? Hey, you're fat, lose weight, don't major in that. That's dumb. I tried that. That didn't make me billions. But telling the opposite, lying to women, well, they're only telling them what they want to hear because they're not going to listen to anything else. Oprah's a billionaire. Democrat Party, billion, cumulatively trillionaires probably, if you look all, because obviously there's thousands of politicians. Well, I'm trying to think of what else. Weight loss is another perfect thing. Like, here's a pill. Take this and you'll lose weight. Anything to avoid hard work. All right. Now, my Operation Evil is different. I have a lot of projects, not only just books, but actual physical products that I'm going to be selling. And you're going to wonder, because I can't say, oh, yeah, this is Operation Evil, because I'm literally admitting then that I'm lying to the people. But I got sick and tired of working hard, telling the truth. And this, just so you know, it isn't even relegated to politics. The housing crisis, anyone? That was me telling largely all Republican bankers, stop lending money to people who can't pay it back. I got fired almost over that. So politics may be the most prominent variable in which you see the NPCs, but it isn't relegated only to that. Would you like another one? Here you go. Sports and men. All right. Colin Kaepernick should be ashamed of himself, but he's not because he's getting loads of money from that. Nike should be ashamed of themselves. You know what young black boys need? They need probably electric scooters so they could Uber. Think about that. Or a bike. They could make some money. What do they spend their money on instead? Air Jordans. Advertised by Colin Kaepernick for, what is it, $200? Do you really think poor black boys in the neighborhood, well, maybe they do have the $200, but don't you think they should spend it on something else? I always thought, get one of them electric scooters and go do Uber Eats. Watch Uber come up with something, oh, you're not 17, blah, 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 blah. But I'm saying there's other better investments that you could do. But you lied to, hey, she's down with the cause. He's got a funny haircut. Hey, did you know he grew up in Whitefish Bay, which is north of Milwaukee, which we used to call White Man's Bay? Parents were rich white people and adopted him. Yeah, you didn't know that, did you? All right. Or remove even racial politics from it. Sports ball. All these fat, washed up, dopey, fat middle-aged men wearing another man's $170 jersey, wearing whatever Vikings regalia, Chicago getting the Cubs, the Bulls, whatever. You dress like a freaking clown with another man's name on the back of it, and you're actually happy and cheering on whether they kick the puck through the net better than the guys threw the javelin through the hoop, or whatever it is. Ooh, and then the Super Series, they didn't make it to the play. Oh, is it March Madness? Yeah, exactly. You want to talk about sheep? You want to, dude, and there's an army of them. They're cattle. They're cattle that hate your guts, and they're not going to accept anything but what they want to hear. And that's why you sell them what they want to hear. I guarantee you that's what the people over on Madison Avenue figured out. So the Democrat Party figured out. You tell them everything they want to hear. One, because they won't listen to it. Two, if you tell them the truth, they're going to hate your guts. The irony, think of this statement. Hey, girls should close the wage gap by majoring in engineering and STEM. You're misogynist. What? I'm trying to help you with really good advice that would work. Right? So they're going to hate you. So what's your option? Well, they're sheep. They're cattle. They don't listen. If you don't agree with them, they hate you and want to end your life or ruin you. You know what? By gosh, let's give them heroin. You want heroin? I'm going to give you some of the best heroin you could ever imagine having. You become the drug dealer. You become Oprah. You become the Democrat Party. You become Nike. You sell these people the slop they want. And it's perfectly moral. Because one, you wouldn't be able to get them to take the broccoli and set down the ho-ho. Hello, do you need another example? You actually have a movement, or what I don't know, movement, but a line of thought that big is beautiful and health at any size. Now, one person marketing that believes it, but the women who buy from those products do. And all you got to do is say, yep, do you want to see the contradiction where there's no anchoring in reality? Go to any lingerie website. Aaron, are you into lingerie? My girlfriend is. You damn right I buy her lots of lingerie. So I was somewhat of an expert on the different sites. And Yandy was the best. And then I started seeing more fat chicks, more fat models, more overweight, more plus size, whatever they want to call them. And I just like, man, I am really not in the mood to buy my girlfriend anything right now. So then I went to Foxy Lingerie. Forget, maybe I'm not that much of an expert. I went to 3 different sites, and the latest one hasn't had plus size models yet. But there you go. Here you go. Here's a little frilly negligee thingy for your 300-pound ass. And they buy it. And I was originally angry at it, but then I realized, oh, this is Operation Evil. I even pulled an industry report on the lingerie industry. Do you know what they did? They boosted their sales by 30% selling it to women who are overweight. Now, I don't know what that translates into, certainly maybe multiple billions of dollars, selling people a lie. And you say, oh, you're not telling them the truth. Were they going to lose the weight? Were they? They weren't. If you told them, hey, Lou, what would happen? You are whatever, anti-woman. There's no winning. They're NPCs. They're not programmed or even capable of hearing another side, let alone some kind of advice that would help them in the real world. They don't want that. They want the lies. They will not accept anything else. If you don't tell them the lies, they're going to hate you. And if you not even talk to them directly, but advocate in general on like a podcast or a YouTuber would, anything that is true, they're going to want to take you down. You see that all the time with doxing or deplatforming or depersonalizing or whatever else. So if I were to talk to my younger self, I would have to take almost a year to explain this to my younger self. Say, look, here's the deal. Nobody wants the truth. No one. Join the Democrat Party. Here's the platforms. Or go into marketing. Or go into writing books and lie. And just get the money. Because here's the thing. Here's another lie. You're smart if you go to college. College is amazing. You have to go to college. It's the college experience, blah, blah, blah. Well, now they've enslaved you via debt, and now you have to work a lot. So you still produce the goods and the services, right? So there's stuff for us to buy, but you're owned. And oh God, education, holy cow! Here's you can become a professor and do this. Oh yeah, Marxism. You got these dumb kids spending $400 of credit to learn the same crap they learned in high school. And if you don't give them the college experience, if you cut government funding, if you were to cut the social sciences and the liberal arts, say, we're not funding it anymore. This ruins people's lives. It's bad. What would happen? Oh, there'd be howls and screams from all the precious little college kids. Okay, yeah, you're right. Sign on the dotted line. It's 7.5% interest. There you go, kid. I'll be $125,000. No, you're smart. You're smart. You don't know how compound interest works, but you got a master's degree in sociology or communications or journalism. Yeah, you go right with your 300 Twitter followers there for Huffington Post for free. Oh no, someday Prince will come. Whatever. Not only is there way more money to make off of this cattle, they're not going to take anything else, and so you have every moral right to send the lie or sell the lies to these people. You have every moral right. On top of it, they hate you. So yeah, I would be an undercover, like I'd be a closet not leftist. But in public, oh yes, college, diversity, fat, big, beautiful. What do you want me to right there? I'm going to repeat back to you what you want me to say. And then you'll make your money. That's how you take advantage of it. The trick is to be outside of the country before there's so many NPCs who don't work because they don't want to work and they don't understand how the real world economics works, that we all have rent controls. There is no housing. And then, oh, geez, there's more like riots in Minneapolis and St. Paul. Gee, I wonder if the lack of housing will increase or lessen the chances of riots in St. Paul. I just wonder. It doesn't matter. You know why? Because Melvin Carter got himself a lifelong pension being the mayor of St. Paul. I think he gets a lifelong pension. He certainly gets a handsome salary, right? He told people what they wanted to hear, right? There you go. He's the one that's mayor. He's got a nice salary. You don't. And so that's how I would apply it in your life. 1, make sure you got great friends. I guess 2, make sure you have a foot in another stable country where people aren't insane. And 3, you lie to these fat, worthless, dumb, moronic American POSs. You lie to them and you charge them. And then you just watch. You just, oh, I don't know. I'm just on my boat here in Thailand. Oh, is the United States burning? Oh, well. They just need to print off more money. That'll solve it, right? Here's my book. Print off more money and tax the rich. There. Made $1 million in first day of sales. All right. Let's go through the super chats. By the way, if you could kindly subscribe to my channel, because I'm trying to get to 100,000. Link down below are 2 germane books to the topic we're talking here. 1, Enjoy the Decline, okay? And the other one is a book called How Not to Become a Millennial. So if any millennials are like, what are you, if you've suffered enough pain now, want to figure out how it works, or Gen Zers or Generation Alpha, you want to avoid what the millennials did, there's a book down below. It's very well worth reading. So let's go through the super chats, if there are any, and have ourselves a treat. Oh, there are some here. All right, I'm going to have to speed it up. Oh, also, I have a Clips channel, Cappy's Clips, apostrophe on the Cappies, because there's another guy, Cappy's Clips, interestingly enough. And if I can get to 1,000 subscribers, which are very close to, I could do a really funny joke. People say, oh, is that going to be a mean and hurtful joke? Yes, it will be. Michael Manker, $2. iPads are the new babysitter. Yep. Oh, if you can sell a rationalization to American parents not to invest time or raise their children at all, do it. Absolutely. DJ Aftershock, $5. Dude, man. Like Tears for Fears is the greatest rock band of all time, man. Dude, like everybody wants to rule the world was so deep, man. I don't even know what I don't know 80s music at all, except for like Huey Lewis and the News, because I couldn't afford tapes. Wisdom Vision Productions. Hey, where you been? $5. Finally finished How Not to Become a Millennial. Thank you. Definitely a better read than the other book written by that random other guy. Yes, Rich Cooper and Rollo Tomasi. They are truly nowhere near as good as authors as me, though you should still buy the books, but mine first. Andrew, $5. NPCs can't admit they're wrong. It's a sunk cost fallacy for their worldview. $8 a gallon gas still won't break their sunk cost. No, I mean, and like I said, in the San Francisco atrium of that nice apartment, they will just go ahead and like let people defecate in their atrium. And at least you have housing. TFM said it right. It's not going to be until people are starving and facing death are they going to change their mind. Wisdom Vision Productions, $2. If the truth is undeniable, you create your own. Yes. And you sell it for $19.95. John, Juan Do, Tai Juan Do, €2. Cappy, the lender of the free thinking world. The lender of last resort in the free thing. I think that'd be Thomas Sowell. I think he would be up there. David, $128, $5. Speaking of NPCs, MPS, Minneapolis Public Schools teachers on strike for the 9th day. Look, honestly, those kids weren't going to learn anything. I'll be perfectly honest. The union said they are fighting against the patriarchy and capitalism. Greta Callahan. I don't know what Greta Callahan is. Fine, whatever. Yep. Patriarchy and capitalism. Yep. By the way, you all, why am I arguing? I was going to point out, Minneapolis and Detroit are pretty much socialist micro economies. So, but that would require people give up their ideology. I'm sorry. I tried to reason with leftists. Be Strong, $2. How the hell would Mary Jo do on the Clary wife test? Pretty poorly. She has a child. And she is a Democrat. So not well at all. I would not marry her. I love her to death. She's a good friend, but I would never marry her. Then again, I don't think I'd ever marry a girl, period. Wisdom Vision Productions for $10. Currently listening to my family blame Republicans, the wealthy class, for all the problems for the 1,000th time because cult leader MSNBC said so. Thanks for this sanity restoring stream. Cappy, show this to him. Well, you want to have a family, but I don't know why you'd have your family. I don't even know why you're within earshot of your family. I had family members who were leftists. Well, I still do, genetically speaking, but I don't talk to them anymore. You know, your cousin. Oh, did he? Really? Oh, that's nice. That's interesting. Well, you were like, no, does he still vote to take away more of my money and less of my freedom? He does. What would I say? Hey, because like Trump ain't in office anymore. Man, Trump really, yeah, man, Trump, huh? Bush, yeah, man. Am I right? Putin. Wisdom Vision Productions, $5. The less things you have tying you down geographically, the more successful and the easier life is going to be going forward. Absolutely. Absolutely. I had someone ask me if they should get rental property. I'm like, not in the U.S. Hell no. All right, there we go. All right. Questions, answers, aholeconsulting.com. Check out the books below. Subscribe here. Also, if you're interested, it has nothing to do with the topic of the conversation, but I have a Achieving Financial Excellence class. If any of you NPCs are done being poor, which they're not, they just love the poverty. But if you guys, you're young and you want to get to not be poor no more, take Achieving Financial Excellence, offered through teachable.com. That's always open. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.